Right, okay. We lost half of that, I think. I think we're now back recording again. Right, recording. So basically what will happen is when I finish, I'm going to record the rest of it and post it on another video, so you won't miss any of it out. But basically, just bear with me a minute. What we've covered so far, for the recording that I've just started, is star jumps. Just bear with me. Star jumps are either jumping as stars or marching with your feet. The arm movements are these star jumps, one to the forward, one to the side, or both up, both sides, both up, both sides, or palms down, palms up. That's one. The second one we did was body rotations. Familiar with that? Keeping your feet in contact with the ground. It's just for the recording. Next one is arm swings. And basically we're going this way, then two arms, and then figure eights, just for the record. And then we tried doing some one forward, one back. The other way. And the other interlocking arm swing was basically sequence side. My left hand's in front, left hand's behind. And the last thing we did before we started recording was squats. I mentioned, for the benefit of the tape, when we're squatting, we're sitting back, so my knees don't go any further forward than my toes. Okay, that's that. Now we're back online. Apologies for that. Next one is lunges. In fact, let's just try this one. Let's go back to squats a minute. So we were squatting down. See how you get on squatting down, having your hands in the air. Okay, it's a bigger stretch. Now what will happen is, as you sit back, your arms will come forward a little bit. You won't be able to keep them up there. And in fact, I don't want you to keep them vertical because you'll be straining. The basic arms in the air, squatting down. Give another 10. And if you look at my legs, it's called a sumo squat. So rather than standing like that, I'm actually standing like that. So my feet are splayed out at about 45 degrees. And I'll show you my arms in a minute. I'm coming down and keeping my arms in the air. Just a better stretch on the core. There we go. Let's have a look at that. Exactly like Roy. Your arms will come forward, Roy. But it's just trying to keep that stretched out a little bit. But certainly don't force your hands back. Unless you're double jointed or triple jointed. That's it. And then stop when you've done 10 and I'm back with you. Beautiful. Okay then, right, lunges. We've done these before. So basically the way we do it, it's a 3-part lunge. You won't be able to see my head. In this case, my left leg is stationary. I'm gonna, just for ease, put my hands on my hips. That's the astronaut way of doing it, apparently. They taught them like that in the 60s because it was more manly. Anyway, so left leg stationary. Lunge forwards. Lunge back, so the right leg is moving, and then lunge to the side. Okay, so lunge forwards, lunge back, lunge to the side. So that's called a transverse lunge that way. Go as far as you can go that's comfortable. If you can get your knee onto the ground, fantastic. But it's within your comfort range again. So a few more, moving the right leg. And then we're going to switch on to the left leg, so the right leg stays stationary. The same again. Lunge forwards, lunge backwards, lunge to the side. Forwards, backwards, side, one more. Forwards, if it helps. When you lunge back, make a counterbalance, and then come to the side. So the range of movement is whatever is comfortable for you, plus a little bit stretching, certainly not straining. And as you get more, I say, you really think about it, normally we don't really use that movement, do we? So I'll be surprised if our hamstrings get a bit tighter if we're not doing that. Okay, next one. Everyone okay so far? Yeah. Fantastic. Next one is a number of parts to it. The first is called a posterior chain stretch. Your posterior chain is the muscles of locomotion down, all the muscles down your back. Okay, that's your hamstrings, that's your calves, that's your glutes, that's your lats, etc., etc. Everything that flexes moving forwards. So, if I show you the bottom end first, so I'm going from, I'll show you the top in a minute, down to there, okay, and I'm coming up to there. Now, what's important, if you look at me from the side, change the angle a little bit. Right, so basically, I'm not just doing a big banana. If I just point my knees a little bit, then that takes the strain off the back. So I'm going from up here, knees just unlocked, to touch the ground or as close as I can get to it. So big stretch, knees just unlocked, so certainly not knees straight, knees unlocked. And feet are about shoulder width apart, plus a piece, plus a bit. So what's comfortable plus a little bit without straining. 5 more of those. Okay, now imagine I'm holding a stick, and this hand, if I'll show you it with a stick, we don't need a stick to do it. Here's a broomstick. This hand is staying stationary, and it's called an external or a lateral rotation. So from here, feet both on the ground again, and I'm stretching out. Okay, so this hand is stationary. I'm just stretching out that way from the side, stretching out. And I can do the same thing from here, same again. I don't actually need the stick to do it. You see what I mean? So I'm rotated, that's not stationary there. I'm rotating up and out that way. There we go. Big stretch, and just hang on the stretch a little bit, hold it a couple of a second or so, and then come off, just to develop that stretch. And do about 8 one side, and then 8 the other side. Once again, in this case, I'm rotating around this hand. Oh. Once again, stretching off the lats, you can feel it in those muscles here, deltoids at the top of the shoulder as well. And then 4 more one way, in fact, alternate sides. 2, 2, 3, 3, once again, 4, 4. Like I say, you can do it with the band or you can do it with the broomstick, but they're really just a guide. Okay, next part of this is basically, so hands on my glutes, on my bum, and just reach forwards. Okay, so just reach forwards. Unlock the knees, so we're not straight legs, we're just slight bend in the knees. We're just doing a good hip flex movement. And we're going to put all these together in a minute. And one more. So we'll put these together. So we'll go nice and slowly. So start at the top, all the way down, all the way up, and then to the hips, one way, and take a bow. All the way up, so the posterior chain stretch. Rotate out one way, out the other way, and there we go. And a few repetitions of that. So big posterior chain stretch. It doesn't matter how many you do. Or you could do one more, 2 each side, 1, 2, different combinations. What we're doing is basically mobilizing the hip in its full range of movement in the different planes of movement it works. Let's have a quick look how we're getting on. I can see Jane now, I can see Roy, yeah. Margaret with a big posterior chain stretch there, beautiful. Okay. Brilliant, excellent stuff. Okay, moving on. Now, you need to be on the ground for this, so you should be able to see me. So kneeling on the ground on all fours. So 3 positions we're looking for. One is called a happy cat. So think about a cat. Cat is happy, very happy, right, straight back, sit on all fours, looking forward. That's the happy cat position. The sad cat position is back arched. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling my glutes in towards me, arching the back. Okay, imagine a cat with an arched back, hissing. Don't have to hiss, you don't need the sound effects. So we've got happy cat, sad cat, and then creep the arms forward into what is the prayer position. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm sitting back on my heels and I'm stretching out the shoulders. So we go about 5 seconds each. Happy cat, 5. Then draw the tummy in, arch the back. Sad cat for 5. 3, 4, 5. Then walk the hands forward. Sit back on the heels. Prayer position for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again. So happy cat. 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw the tummy in. Arch the back. Feel the strain in the shoulders. 4, 5. Walk the hands forwards. Sit back on the heels. And once again, let's have a look at what you're doing. Keep going. Yeah. Wonderful. That's it. So that's a nice stable position. Arch the back, pull the tummy in, and then sit back. Really stretch out across the shoulders, lats, trapezius, rhomboids, muscles in the top part of your back. Brilliant. Okay. The next one. Now I can't quite do this very well. You may be better at me than this. Called a cobra position. So what I'm trying to do, it's like a press up position, but this is called a short lever press up. That's a long lever press up. What I'm trying to do, stretching without straining, from that position there, trying to get my hips down on the floor. Now I can't get down on the floor. So just let your body weight hang a little bit. Try and get as far down as you can. Keep your head up. You're trying to keep your spine neutral again. If you can get all the way down, fine. Just move back a bit so you can see it better. So just under your own body weight, what will happen is your spine will lengthen a little bit. So like I say, if it gets uncomfortable, then just take the pressure off and then just bring it on again. But say to within what is sensible stretching without straining. Okay. So to develop that stretch a little bit, it depends on your range of flexibility. Bring one leg forward to the point at which it's comfortable, and you're basically stretching this part of the body, so the left side. And I'm leaning a little bit more onto my left arm rather. My arm, left hand is pretty much directly below my shoulder. I can hold that, and then nice and steady backwards, and try the other way. In this case, my left leg has come forward, my right leg's under the shoulder. I'm just once again stretching off the core, stretching off the hips, just improving, promoting hip flexibility. Okay, nice, just steady movements here, not jerky movements. And then we'll do it once more, back to the cobra position. At all these spine lengthening things, what will happen is it starts off a little bit tense, then as you do it, as long as you take it easy, it'll become a little bit more flexible. So just under your own body weight, let it drop down a little bit. But like I said, if it gets uncomfortable, just ease it off a little bit. And then come on again. And then, in my case, moving the right leg forward. Hold that for 10 or 20 seconds, whatever is comfortable. So you're basically letting your own body weight do the stretch for you. And then, next leg forward. There we go. Nice and steady. This is one of the if you get caught on the beach, start till you get a suntan and you exercise at the same time. I'm surprised more people aren't doing this. And then do it once more then. So ease off the back if you need to. If you need to ease off the back, just do the prayer position again. That's ideal. That's more, stretch it off. Into the cobra position again, nice and steady. And then right leg forwards. Feel the stretch. In this case, down the left side of my central core. And then ease off. Left leg forward, same again. Feel the stretch down my right side. And then finish off into the prayer position again, just to lengthen the back spine again. I think this is also called child's pose in yoga. There we go. Okay, now nice and steady. Standing up. Where are we? Okay. Now we're going to go into a bit of yoga. So basically, you may be familiar with it. It's called Vibhandrasana, the warrior pose. Okay, he was some mythical warrior, Hindu times. It was related to Shiva, the Hindu god, apparently, but that's not actually important right now. So I'll show you the foot position first. Well, we're doing warrior 1 and warrior 2. So basically, I'll show you the components of it. We end up standing like this with the arms facing up. Okay, so from the front, this sort of situation here. So these hands are coming together like a prayer position, an arrow, if you like, pointing upwards. I'm lengthening out the back. That's happening at the top. Okay, the bottom is my back foot, in this case my right foot, is at 45 degrees. That's obviously 0 degrees, that's 90, so 45 degrees. I'm stepping forward, so my left leg, my leading leg, is going straight ahead, and then I'm coming up into the warrior 1 position. So basically, how we get into that, we get a nice stable position. So my feet are now both facing the same direction. Okay, I'm facing you, my feet are facing you. Hands on hips. Then I'm going to change my left leg to the warrior is going in that direction. I'm going to change that to 45 degrees. Step forward with this one. Okay, and I get a nice, just rest. So I get a nice stable position. So I'm not leaning too far forward, not leaning too far back. I've got nice, so my body weight is just sitting nicely, and then straighten the back and good breathing. Bring the arms up, stretch up a little bit. So stretching out the core and hold that for 30 seconds. Now, when you're stretching, you should be able to still breathe. So if you're stretching too much, that's too much. Just bring it back a little bit. And like I say, you develop it over time. Good for posture, good for back. Actually good for circulation, good for anything, all this yoga. I should do more of it. Okay, and after 30 seconds, that's looking nice, nice and stable. And then relax down out of it, but stay in this position again. So stay in this central position, nice and stable. Just shake off the shoulders. Give another 10 seconds. And once again, reaching up. And imagine this is an arrow point. And I bring the arrow together and I point upwards. Okay, so it comes up. I'm pointing upwards, so my feet stay on the ground. And like I say, you'll find the point at which you can still breathe, you can still operate your diaphragm, but if it's too far, then just bring it back a little bit so you can, your core is tense, but you're focused and you're still breathing. Beautiful, nice, centralizing. And if you're into the spiritual side of things, it centralizes the spirit as well, but great for the body. Okay, brilliant, and relax from there. Wonderful. Okay, we'll do warrior 3 is with your leg in the air. We're not going to do that one. Warrior 2. Warrior 2. This is basically this is the one that everyone knows. They've seen it. So the warrior is facing in that direction. So I'm going to be doing this position here. Okay, so those are as straight as you can. Now, what happens with, so it looks from the front. It should look something like that. If I'm pointing where I'm going. My feet, slightly different. Oh, can you see that? So in this case, my back foot is 90 degrees, okay? And my front foot, and once again, I've got a nice central position, not too far forward, not too far back. Spine is upright and neutral. And then once we've got in that nice neutral position, if you just push it a little bit, once again, so you feel the tension rather than the strain, and then come up with that nice position there, looking where we're going. And you should feel the stretch there and the stretch across this part of the deltoid here and the tricep. And as you come up, you feel the whole body lift up a little bit. And that's exactly what you're doing, basically, but not lifting off the ground. Nice position, so you should feel tension, but it's a good tension rather than a strain. Okay, and hold that, let's have a look. Let's have a look where we're going. Now, some people are more flexible than others, and you'll just work into it, because once again, this is not a normal sort of position pose that you're in. Okay, and relax. And now change legs. So we're going the other way. So in this case, I'm going to start, the warrior's going to go in that direction, so I'm going to start So you can see again. Feet facing you. This leg at the back, this stays 90 degrees facing you. I'm going to turn the other foot out, step forward, get that. I'll show you from the bottom in a minute. Nice neutral position. And then when I'm nice and stable, get the position there. And then when I'm ready, lift it up once again. So you're lifting, you can still breathe, but you can feel the pleasant tension rather than strain in your diaphragm. Like I say, if you're stretching too much, it's difficult to breathe. Just relax it down a little bit. It should be tense but positive. And from the ground, basically starting off with your pretty. So that's me facing there. This one stays 90 degrees. This one turns out. Step forward, find that nice balanced position, and then when I'm ready, come up to the position, get stable, and then lift it up. And I can feel the strain in the adductors there, in the hamstrings there. So if I just let it slip down, just keep it nice and athletically straight, we used to say. There we go. And what I meant to say earlier, when you do the Warrior One, do it that way and then change over that way again. And like I say, if you're comfortable holding it for 20 seconds, 30 seconds or a minute, you probably find if it's quite a relaxing pose, actually, quite a relaxing position. So you might find it's the sort of thing people do before bed, actually, just to sort of center themselves if they need that, they're that way inclined, or just to relax. Okay, moving on. Right, next one, nearly there, is a plank. Now, once again, down on the ground, you might want to use a mat or something. And you don't need to hold this for minutes and minutes. I think the world record is something like 7 hours. No need to do that on the first try. That was a joke. Plank is basically arms down, arms down, and we're in a press up position. And the key to it is keeping the back straight. So that's not plank. That's not plank. Trying to keep the spine neutral. That's one way of doing it. The other way is the high plank, which is like the press up position. Some people find it easier to do that to start with. It's a stronger position when you think about it. Or there's the low plank. I would say only keep it for 30 seconds, maybe a minute. If you start shaking, just drop your knees. Just hold that. And if you're really keen, you can do walk in the plank. Okay. And when you come out of this position, rather than standing up and straining back, just drop your knees onto the ground. That short lever press up position, and recover from there. Okay. Okay, so that's plank. That's front plank. Try this one. This is the rear plank. So basically, rather than being on, you'll have a position where if I hold my hands like this, I'll be impinging my shoulder. What I want to do is splay the hands out 90 degrees. And the rear plank, basically, from this position, seated position, straight back, and then point the toes and try and get the body as straight as possible. Purists actually prefer this method because it requires more strain. You're pushing upwards rather than with the other plank. Well, basically gravity is doing the job for you to a certain extent. And this, once again, if you're on the beach at Bournemouth and the local officers come along, if you assume this position, then you're sunbathing, but you're exercising as well. So there you go. And once again, hold that for 20, 30, and it's building up core, connective tissue, and getting a good suntan at the same time. Okay. Nearly there. Right, so we've done last little bit now. Now we need to talk about balls. In fact, no, let's come on to that in a minute. Sorry. Let's just bear with me, increase the circles. So we're just doing the shoulders now. We'll come on to the balls in a minute. So from what I'm looking for, and this is an old exercise that's come back into fashion. I'll start here. Hips facing you, little circles, little circles, little circles, and then gradually it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. We used to do this when I first joined the police, so early 80s, then it went out of fashion for some reason, then it came back in again. Great exercise for the shoulders. Nice and slow, nice and slow, nice and slow. Getting bigger, getting bigger, getting bigger, and then getting so big that we're with the biggest circle we can, brushing our ears. If you've got big ears like me, it's easy. Opening up the chest as we do it. And then, guess what? Other way. So in this case, I started off going backwards. Now we're going forwards, carving in with the hands like a butterfly stroke, but not quite. Then it gets smaller. But hold it there for a bit, then it gets a bit smaller. Hold it there for a bit. And then it gets smaller. And smaller. And smaller. And smaller. And hold it there. Feel that little bit of strain, and then relax and shake it off. And basically, I mean, if you want to progress that, then that should take longer to get to the bigger circles. But amazing how good that is. Because once again, the shoulder doesn't get normally worked, unless you're a swimmer, of course, in that sort of plane of movement. Okay, moving that on. What used to be called doorknobs. Same exercise again, starting position. So imagine I've got a big country house doorknob. What I'm doing, I'm rotating the wrist all the way to the back, all the way to the front. So before I was exercising the rotation in the shoulder, now I'm exercising the rotation in the wrist. Obviously the shoulder will follow on. So from this position, I'm rotating back to forwards. Like I say, mild discomfort. Try and keep your arm up when you're doing it, like I was doing. There we go, keep that going. Nice and slow, and try and increase that range of movement, but don't overdo it. There we go, looking good. Keep that going. Like I say, amazing. It's just body weight exercises. Just trying to use your body in ways that don't normally get used in the normal stuff that we do every day. I can't actually think of any exercise where you actually use this. I mean, the muscles you need to warm up and flex, but keep it going, another 10 seconds. You can really feel, obviously everyone knows about the bicep and the tricep, but the other supporting muscles in the forearm, once again, stretching those out, working the connective tissue, the ligaments, joints, promoting the blood flow. Beautiful. A little bit more, all the way. So once again, don't trade off speed for range of movement. It's really a range of movement exercise. There we go. Brilliant. Now you need your ball or balls. 3, 4 exercises, then we're done. Okay, you may have seen this before. Some people call it a teacup exercise. I call it a helix exercise. Right, imagine I'm holding a ball here. So I'm offering you the ball. The ball's going to go, just hold my palm out, just cup it in my hand. So trying to keep the ball facing upwards. We're tucking it. Let me shake it so you can see it. Okay, it's going under my arm. So I've got to lean back a little bit, up, over, and back to the position. Okay. So what you've got to do, keep the ball not stationary, keep the ball facing upright, really exercising, just mobilizing the whole of the shoulder. That way, you've got to tuck under a little bit. It comes up over my head. And so it goes in that helix infinity sort of position, in that sort of plane of movement. So once again, tuck it under, nice and slow. It's range of movement, flexibility. And see if you can do 5 of those. Nice and steady. So concentrating on keeping it upright. And we're not just exercising the shoulder, we're also flexing the core and the hip flexors. Okay, and you've probably gone to your dominant hand. So once you've done 5, change over hands and do the same again. There we go. So once again, really good warm-up exercise actually, but best done slow. And I wouldn't go straight into this. I'd do something like a star jumps or something as a pulse raise to get you moving first, especially as you're warming up the shoulders. Then you're stretching out the ligaments. If you did this cold and you're not familiar with it, well, you're not going to do yourself a mischief, but it's just better to get the blood coursing through first. There we go. And then one more. There we go. So that's the helix. Now, if you had two balls, I forgot to say bring two balls, or two pieces of fruit, and you could do it one ball in one hand, this is a double helix. So the next step on, in this case, we're going both under, both leaning back, up and over. So we're basically tracing it. And in fact, you could do it with your stick again when you think about it. So that sort of thing again. So you don't have to be really, to a certain extent, holding the ball is just a focus point, isn't it? You don't actually need the ball. It just keeps the hands in the right position. So the ball, in this case, is facing upwards. So keep going, let's have a look at you there. That's it, looking good. Yeah, yeah. Really interesting, nice and slow, nice and slow. And then once you've done that, try the opposite direction. You'll have a dominant side. There we go. So really just getting that twist around. There we go. But you're exercising within your individual range of movement. And if it's getting to be a strain, just stop, shake it off. Yeah. Okay. Last one. So two more. This one is called poles apart. So you could do one ball or two balls. The idea is to keep them as far apart as possible. Let me explain it. Let me demonstrate it and explain it, or explain and demonstrate it first. So basically, these two are far apart, okay? Poles apart, the two magnets, they're repelling. Now, what I'm trying to do is rotate around so the ball stays high. When I get with my back to you, I'm going to bring one magnet up to the other, and that is going to repel that one. And I'm going to go around again. Okay, and then come up again. So the idea is we start like that, we rotate around, so we keep the ball high. When my back is facing you, I bring it at the back, I bring one up to the other, and then they bounce off each other, stretch the other way, and finish the circle. If you can't get it high to start with, it's just within, if you can only manage there, that's fine. But you see what I mean? What I'm trying to do is mobilize the shoulder, stretch the back at the same time. Go as far as you can do it. It's quite if you're not familiar with it, it's quite a complex movement. So I'm going to demonstrate it once more for the video for anybody looking back afterwards. So basically, poles apart, two magnets, straight apart. This one's going to get as close to the ground as possible. The yellow one, in this case, is going to be in the air. So basically, I'm down here, and I'm trying to keep the yellow one, this one here, as high as possible. I rotate around, so I'm rotating around the ball, and I'm still holding it high. When I get to the back facing the camera, in this case, I'm going to bring a white ball up to the yellow ball. Because it's a magnet, that's going to repel that. I'm going to stretch the other way, carry on moving around, and then stand up there. Okay, that's quite a complex movement. So really, you work within whatever you can do now, and the more you do it, hopefully, all these things take a bit of practice. One more exercise. It's called the manta, my current favourite exercise. So you know you've done the helix, and you've done the helix there. This is the double, but we're going opposite. So it's a bit of a coordination exercise as well. So we're going from here. You don't actually need two balls. We're going out. Okay, nice and steady. So an opposition helix. And I couldn't think of what to call it, but it reminded me of a manta ray. So it's called the manta now. So really big, nice and slow. So tuck under the arms. And then from there, I'm moving it up. There we go. Really good way of mobilizing all of the shoulder. Okay. And then just do me 5 more of those, and that'll be the end of that. It takes a bit of time. Okay. Oh, you're all clear again now. Okay, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And that is all there is to it. All we're going to do, just any questions on that immediately? Everyone okay? Any strains? Everyone okay? Right. Any questions subsequently come back to me, but we should do one quick cool down. We don't really need much of a cool down, but we do the standard cool down is basically from here, interlock the hands, bend at the waist. So we're lifting and pushing to separate the shoulder blades. And then we're going up into the starfish, sort of Y-shaped starfish, if you like. And then one more, interlock the hands, bend the waist, lift and push to separate the shoulder blades. Hold that. Bend a bit further forward to get a stretch on the hamstrings, and then we're coming up. T-shape, stretch across the chest, upper abdomen here. Last one. Touch the ground. Touch the sky. One more. Touch the ground. Touch the sky. One more. Hold it higher. Big stretch. Either on tiptoes or stable position. High on one side. High on the other side. Both hands high. Big stretch. Breathe in, out, down. And you should be nice and relaxed, I hope. Okay, you're done. You're done, you're done, you're done. Happy? Everyone okay?